most of us, this is a big no-no, this is a big problem, uses the same password for everything. So my Instagram, my Twitter, my Facebook, my Google, my Roku, my Apple account, um, everything, generally somebody has one or two or three passwords, and that's all they use for everything. So as soon as those get compromised, one of those websites gets compromised, and that data is leaked out, then your hacker, your person that's up to no good, then will go to these other accounts and try to log in with that password. So let's say that your Facebook gets compromised. They get your password, and they go to Yahoo, and they go to Google, and they go to, well, they go to AOL, but they go to AOL. They go to these other email accounts, and they start trying it. Comcast, Jet Broadband, Verizon, and they're able to get in because they know what your email address is because they hacked your Facebook. They know what your password is, and you're using the same password. So now they're into your email. Now that they're in your email, they start looking at what all you're doing with your email, who you're communicating with, your address book. They download all that information, and you have no idea that they're doing this. And then they start looking at, well, they bank at BB&T or somewhere, so they figure out from your email. They go to BB&T's website, forgot password. It sends an email link. They redo the password, delete the link. Now they have access to your bank account. Just a quick, easy example of how something as simple as using the same password could cause harm. Nobody wants to log in their bank account and see all the money's gone. Not to mention, by not taking the time to properly manage your passwords and your access, now your address book is compromised. So now they can see all the people you're communicating with. They can also, in your Facebook, see, oh, look, Tommy told his mom happy birthday on this date. So that means his mom's birthday is this date. And they start going through, what high school did they go to? What town were they born in? All this information is easily accessible through social media because we don't think about it. We just post it on there so my friends can find me, when actually, you're kind of putting it out there for the criminals as well, especially if you have it turned off so, oh, nobody can see that. Well, if they hack in as you, they can see everything, right? So password management is the point here. So how do you do that? I know that I have a ridiculous number of passwords because of work and having them different. That's policy here at work. Can't use the same password. As well as in my personal life, there's no way I could remember all that stuff, much less that and two-factor. It gets to the point where it's just not worth doing, which is why I want to talk about LastPass. So first piece of advice I'm going to give you, and the best part about LastPass, we're going to talk about what it can do, but it is a password manager. And for individuals, you can actually go to lastpass.com, click on pricing. If you come over here, they have a free version. So you can get the free version, right? These are all the features in the free version. Here's the features in the premium version. I will point out, if you are a corporate customer at CTS and you guys are using LastPass, LastPass will allow up to 5 users for each person who has a license. So for personal use, it would have nothing to do with the business. So you would get the extra premium features at no charge because your corporation is using CTS and LastPass as a managed service provider. But so what is LastPass? Why would you want to do it? I would go here, create the account. This is your master password. It needs to be a password you've never used before that you make up right now. And you sign up for it. That's how you sign up for it. Now, what does it do? So if you go to a website like right here, and there's a username and password, you don't obviously remember what your password is, it can auto-fill it for you in any of the browsers like you see here. And I'm going to show you mine here in a second. So this is what it looks like. So you can have all of your accounts here and on your phone. This app works on your phone, your Apple Watch, and you would click on, say, Facebook. So I'm going to come up here to mine. This is my personal one. Right here are all personal things for me. So we'll pick one like Sling TV, right? So if I click launch, I do nothing else. It's one click because I have it saved in here. I have all of my um, two-factor information, everything already programmed. I can one click and it opened up, no password required. I don't need to remember what it was, and it's secure. All right, so let's go back here to mine look. So I can come over here to edit. I can share it with other people. I can delete it, but I'm going to edit it. So when I go to the Sling site, I can tell it to, record this or save it. So here's the link. It's where I'm going. Username, I'm not going to show you, but if I clicked on this, it would show you my password. And any notes that I want to put in here, I can do, and I can tell it what I want to do. So it's a quick example of how easy managing lots of passwords can be. So LastPass not only can do this on your phone, can do it for your apps, um, and you can obviously get to the point where you have a single sign-on. So that is LastPass, and I'll go ahead and show you on the device, Apple, Android, Windows phones even. You can have the same ability to not have to ever remember your passwords. It can also generate passwords for you if you don't know what you want to put in or how strong the password's going to be. Then you can also set up on your device like fingerprint support. I have that. So if I go to an app and I click on it and it says I need to log in, I just click on it again. It comes up with LastPass. I stick my finger on the back of the phone and it populates my username, passwords, and logs me right in. That's the first piece of advice. Why is all this important? Your data, your passwords have a dollar amount attached to them. And your information can be sold on the dark web. It can be exploited by people and then sold on the dark web. Your friends and family members can be phished through this. In other words, they get an email from you or a Facebook request from you or, hey, check this video out. I thought you'd like it. And you click on it and it downloads something to your computer. So all of a sudden, all the people you care about through you could be affected. And then that information sold and then the same thing over and over. And it comes this evil cycle. So on the dark web, you can buy phished computers that are infected that they have not activated anything on. I think it's about $25 for 1,000 infected computers. And then of that 1,000 infected computers, you then can go on, it's really simple. You just go to a website and you download a ransomware and then you partner with the ransomware company, whoever wrote it, whatever group, whatever state group it is. And usually it's a 60-40 split. They get 60, you get 40, and they agree, you partner, and you send their ransom request out to all those infected computers. And rule of thumb, you get a few percentage of them that will actually get ransomed, and then a percentage of that who will actually pay in Bitcoin. And then you and the ransomware company are making money. So all they have to worry about is writing the software and collecting money. And then you've got the people out there that are hacking your information, getting your address book, and attacking your friends and family. That's just one example that I think it's important to know. It's not always about you, the individual. It's about you're just a number, and they want all your information, all your friends' information, so they can go sell it and exploit it. And it really doesn't matter where you fall as it relates to any issue that you would think. Because it's generally what I hear from people is, why did they do this to me? Why did they do this to me? And I don't want to sound bad, but it's really not about you. They don't care about you. They don't care who you are. So password management. Now, what all can you do with this? This can manage your passwords. There's another piece of software that I think would be important to talk about, and that is, let me go this way. That is going to be two-step verification, or we call two-factor. Your password is step one, then you have whatever two-factor technology, right? Then you have your data, right, that you're trying to keep safe. So in this two-step verification, there's several ways to accomplish it. One is what they call a YubiKey. I have one here. You can see that. You just plug into your computer, and when it tells you to, you touch the top of it, and it sends a code that changes every few seconds to get you through your next step. So that's something you know is the password. Something you have is either going to be your phone or your YubiKey. So that's an example. So you get a text message or you have an application, which we're going to talk about here in a second. That's what I would recommend. You get a code, you enter the code, there you go. So now you have two layers, right? This is straight off of Google's two-step verification. So if you're using Google, you can literally Google, how do I set up my two-factor? And it will show you how to do it right here. Very easy, very straightforward. So what are your options when doing that? So one of the most popular is Google Authenticator. You get that in the Apple Store, you get an Android store. It's one of my favorites. I use it a lot. I will actually show you guys. I have tons of things. If you can see that there, you probably can't. Anyway, that is what I use. So Snapchat, here's a code. So when you log into Snapchat for the first time with a new device, you're going to enter your username and password, which you might already have in your LastPass, and then it's going to ask you, it's going to pop up and say the 6-digit generated code from your app. You would take this code and type it in. This little pie right here is a timer. So every minute this code changes, right? So, and it's this code specific to you and your login, right? So you put this code in, hit confirm, it lets you in. Most sites and apps will allow you to stay connected for a period of time without having to re-enter this, because it's built a trusted relationship off of this initial encounter. So if you log out of something and go to log back into it, it may ask for it again. But generally, you're not going to have to enter this every single time after you've done it the first time. Even if it's on a desktop, remember the desktop. Now, you are borrowing your friend's computer, or you're traveling, or you're at work, you open up a browser, you go to your Facebook or your Instagram or whatever that has two-factor turned on. It's going to ask you, because you've never connected from that browser or from that location, so it's always going to ask you, right? So that way, if somebody in another state or another country tries to log in as you, they're going to get the same thing. You're going to get a notification generally that somebody's trying to log in, and you know that you're good to go, because they may obviously have your password because they got that far, but they don't have your two-factor. So we're going to talk a little bit more about two-factor. But this is what I would recommend. Download LastPass. That's your password manager. Get that all set up. Download your Google Authenticator. And I actually have my LastPass set up in an Authenticator app as well. Says I don't want there just to be a password on my password manager, and we get somebody into everything. So obviously, my security on that is foremost, right, for me. So what does that look like? I wanted to show you. This is actually a really good example, and it's from Amazon. So how do I set my Google app up? Well, first off, you're going to go to whatever applicate or whatever site you're using or you want to set it up with, right? So in this case, it is Amazon setting up their two-factor. You would go to their app, log in. You would go to your user account. You would click on change account settings, advanced security settings, right? And then you're able to choose between getting a text message each time, which is an SMS, which is my least favorite because it is the easiest to hack a two-factor, because somebody can duplicate a phone or duplicate an SMS stream and also get that code. So you'd get the code, they get the code too. It's one of the reasons that I stay away from that. I would choose an Authenticator app. So when you choose that, instead of going here, your backup method, which will be considered your two-step, do a phone number or Authenticator app. I set up my phone number, then I set up my Authenticator app because I wanted to know if somebody was trying to log in, but I wanted them to have to authenticate through the app. So you have your Google app here. What you would do if you already have things here, it's this plus sign. If you don't have anything here, it is going to look like this, and you are going to click set up, add new, give this app permission to your camera. And then as you can see here, the camera identified this code, right? So if we go back up here, that's this code. So when you choose the Authenticator app, in your Amazon account or whichever account you're setting this up in. This includes Facebook, all of the ones that you're going to do online if you did it on a computer. So what's going to happen is you're going to have the app, you're going to scan this code, and then it's going to ask you to input what shows up on your phone right here. So you would scan it, it's going to immediately change into what it's supposed to look like here. You take that code, you enter it in, and you hit verify and continue. That what that does is that creates the initial setup of your two-factor, and you are now nobody's going to be logging into your Amazon account as you and shipping stuff to their house. So that's exciting. No, but Amazon is a good one. A lot of people use Amazon. Um, Facebook, right? So here's my personal Facebook. Obviously, I'm not going to click on the password, but if I click login, it's going to come here and it's going to ask for that generated code, right? Because this web browser, I logged out so that I could show you guys this. So I would pull up my application right now. I'd enter this code, click continue, and this would give me the trusted connection, which would allow me then to go into Facebook. Another thing that I want to point out, not having your two-factor turned on. So phishing attempts, right? Now, if you guys, cybersecurity is a big thing. Obviously, you're watching the news now, and how do they get your username and password, stuff like that? Well, here's one example. We've all gotten emails like this. It shows up in your inbox, your account's in danger. It's from Google, right? And it says, hey, there's been something going on. I need you to install this, right? That's from the mail team. So people click on this, it's going to ask you next for your Google login information. So a lot of people put in their email address and their password and click next, and it automatically takes you to your Google, just like you think you're doing just fine. So you have no idea that that was actually a phishing attempt. And now they have your information and you don't know they do because you gave it to them. One way that you can kind of understand this is, does the format of this look correct? Is there any contact information or name of who actually sent this? And then up here, in the name is the reply accounts email, but where's it coming from? It's coming from at, preview.org, This is not Google, right? So this would be a dead giveaway right here. This is a phishing attempt. But let's say that you accidentally fell victim to this and put in your information and you gave them your password. The one thing they don't have is your two-factor, right? They don't have this. So now they have your password, but they still cannot access your accounts. So I generally tell people, because it's a lot, right? It's a lot of time to get used to this. Once you get used to it, you'll never go back, especially with Password Manager. But you get your Password Manager set up first, get your Google Authenticator set up first, and then I would go order of importance as far as which accounts do you go and go to their website and figure out the process, or go through their app and turn these things on. I recommend email first, because everything else is generally connected back to your email. So if I get your email, that's like keys to the kingdom. I can even reset your LastPass, with your email. So keeping your email secure is vital. The next thing I would do is any financial things, anything that you have financial data in, make sure you have two-factor turned on. I'm pretty sure it was Bank of America recently. It's one of the first to allow these YubiKeys to be used with their website, which is awesome, because that gives you the ability to control the two-factor and not just an SMS or an email. Of course, email can be used as your two-factor. I'm not a big fan of that, because obviously if they get into your email and your email is your two-factor for something else, then they've got full access, right? So you don't want to do that. So after your financial things, any type of retirement sites or retirement information, anything you store there, you're going to want to make sure you have two-factor on. And then all the big ones, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, your Amazon, which is obviously I would consider to be a financial, right? They log in as you and buy stuff, are big ones. You're gonna find it hard for any app on your phone or website you go to regularly not to have the option. A lot of people a few years ago, just like Facebook, they pushed out like, hey, you need to do this. You need to turn on some type of two-factor to protect yourself. Click here to set it up. Click skip to do it later. All of us hit skip, and we never took time to set it up. Right. Or we see those notifications that come up and say, don't use the same password, and like, well, I hadn't used that password in a few years. I'm going to start using it again. That's really not good. 'Cause if it was ever compromised, it's out there and now you're using it again. Right. So somebody could get in and get after what you have going on. So that's important to knock that out as well. Um, Social media. I am not a social media fan. I think there's a lot of good in it, but I think it's also a very dangerous place. Um, for example, I don't post what my birthday is on Facebook, but there's people who know what my birthday is, so they will message me "Happy birthday," and I'm like, So you just told everybody on Facebook that that any of your friends that could be compromised, any of my friends that could be compromised, you've just given them my birthday. Um, the whole going on vacation. Hey, we're going to the beach next week. See you guys when we get back, or start posting pictures of yourself at the beach. That's dangerous as well, because if I'm a crook or criminal, or local criminal for that matter, and I know that you're not there, then that's a perfect example where I could go in knowing that you're not there, break into your house, steal your stuff. So what you put on social media, what high school you went to, those are really good questions if I was setting up credit or trying to gain access to some type of credit card or banking information, your mother's maiden name, the town you grew up in, of course, the schools, and all that information is generally people post out there freely, and they usually secure their Facebook with their same password. Be smart with it. There's a lot of good, but there's also a lot of bad, and nothing's worse than you think you're out doing something completely noble and nice and sharing your life, and then somebody exploits that. So LinkedIn's another good one. I mean, this is your professional life, right? So this LinkedIn, you can just open the app, go to settings and privacy, sign in and security. You can set up your two-step verification, and you can do it multiple ways. This particular site allows you to use different ones. So you could use Google Authenticator, Windows Authenticator, Authy. There's a whole litany of these two factors, but Google generally is accepted by most all of them. So Facebook, if you want to do it from your app, security and privacy, go to security and logins, right? And then click edit and turn on your two-factor authentication, and it'll walk you through the process. Most of these companies have made it really simple to do these things because they want you to do it. Twitter's the same way. Security and account settings, security, and then turn on two-factor, right? Instagram, go up here to the top right, click on your person, go to security, two-factor authentication, and it'll take over from there. So here's one for TikTok. This link, I think we're going to be sharing at some point, so that you can go look at. It's a great website. There's several different ones out there like this. I'm sure you could Google them and find them, search for them. But your Reddit, I mean, anything you normally log into, you should consider turning the two-factor on if it's an option, just to protect yourself. Those are kind of the things that I run into when I'm talking to individuals about securing their own life. Is don't use the same password. Use a password manager. There's other ones out there. I strongly would encourage LastPass. I think they're the leader in the industry. I would also use the Google Authenticator app. I think that's a good one as well. And again, your banking, your email, your password management software, get all this stuff secured. Secure your life, protect yourself. A lot of the stuff we're seeing on TV now, even in the enterprise space that we work in, there's simple things that could have been done that would have prevented these multi-million-dollar breaches and stops in the supply chain, right? Keeping your computers updated, keeping your phones updated. Don't click install security update later. Take a second. Install the security update. It's there for a reason. Those are very important. Trust me, Google doesn't want to send those out as much as you don't want to click on them. So if you do get one, you need to update it. You're doing yourself a favor. Microsoft's the same way.
It was funny because actually during this webinar, I got an email from my bank saying that they are requiring another level of security. So this is a sign, I guess you could say, that this is not going away. It used to be a burden, quote unquote, of, oh, I have to set up my two-factor authentication. Well, no, now it's going to be a requirement. Everything that you do at work or you need to be doing at work in regards to security is going to be impacting in your personal life. And this is step one.
Right. The best part about this, it doesn't cost you anything. It's
Yeah.
free, you know, so you can secure yourself. You don't have to spend any money to do it. For years, which is still a thing, malware, antivirus, all that, that's still a thing. Don't get me wrong. But this is an easy way, an inexpensive way that you can really lock your information down now that we're using cloud and all of these different servers involved and different things. It's easy, it's cheap, because it's free. It's my favorite price. Awesome. Well, that's all I
Well,
had.
Tommy, thank you so much for your time this morning. I'm sure that we are going to be packaging this all up and sending it out to anybody who could not make it this morning. Again, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Have a great day.